Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to A Cup of Ray out here on a Sunday morning at the world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill, just across the street over my right shoulder. Yeah, it's my right shoulder. You see Tropicana Field. You got the condominiums right over here. You got everything going on. You got the smells of game day in the air. You got hot dogs, the wings. I heard it was locked down here on Friday for opening day in that victory over the Baltimore Orioles where the Rays came back in the bottom of the eighth inning, scored that second run. They beat them again. They won yesterday, so the Rays are still undefeated. But we're not just talking about baseball today. We're actually talking about football. And I'll tell you why. I stumbled across No Risk It, No Biscuit on the NFL Network. I went to the NFL Network, and we've seen now the NFL Network. They've gotten to that where they're starting to replay old games. And the first game I'm watching yesterday was Brian Bosworth going back to when it was the Seahawks and they were playing against I forget the team they were playing against. Great game, and I'm like, well, yeah, there's a time and a place. And I did not need to see replays of last season's game. I've seen enough of them. I can always watch Bucs games anytime that's on. I'll lock it down and watch it. But so I went to the on-demand part of my cable package there with the remote, and I saw this No Risk It, No Biscuit, narrated by the great Billie Jean King. And of course, it's like just like we used to remember. We used to, guys and girls, we used to go to the movie theater. And towards the June, July, August. This is going back to the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. You'd go to see a movie and you'd go in and the lights would come down. And I've posed this before. I used to actually go to see movies, and I would stay for another run of a movie because I knew they were doing the Buccaneer highlight film from the year before. Of course, fantastically done by Steve Sable in NFL Films. But this No Risk and No Biscuit was a look at the 2020 season, and they're working it back over, and it's the things that happened in the 2020 season. And then I'm like, Bucs get the second Lombardi in team history, win Super Bowl 55, make it to the divisional round in 2021, and then Tom's gone, and then he's not gone, and then Bruce is gone, and things are going so crazy. And I posed for a minute. I said, let's go back to Super Bowl 55, or let's go back to the 2020 season, and let's remove the pandemic and the empty stadiums and the socially distancing and everything we were all doing responsibly to get to this better place that we're at now as we're getting ready for Game 3 across the street over here at Tropicana Field. Again, I'm here at Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill. But what about that 2020? I'm talking postseason, guys and girls. The 2020 postseason, that march towards Super Bowl 55. What was your turning point? What was your favorite moment? Was it the deuces? Share it here on a Sunday morning. I'm going to be right back. Let me make sure I can pull my showrunner up so I can share the show. And I only ask in return. Oh my God, I have the wrong. Okay, hold on a minute. Sorry, I got the wrong thing loaded, but I will have it here in 1 second. Do I have it here? I don't have it here as well. Sorry, guys and girls, stay with me because it's really important. My wife really did great. Speaking of my wife, talking about the Footage Bound Productions, but best wedding videographer you will find not just in the Tri-County area or West Central Florida, but actually the best that I think I'll pose out there. Just like my daughter Kate's the best computer animation artist that I'll ever know. My wife is the best wedding videographer because, again, remember, anyone can hold and point that camera, but you take the editing. And of course, she wins, again, the Icon Award at Gibbs there when she graduated from high school a couple of years ago. I'm not going to go there. We've been married for, I'm not 22 years, going on 22 in June, just like James Canada, big game James Canada, and his beautiful wife who celebrated their 22nd anniversary in February. But I've got my showrunner up again. Go to footagebound.com or Footagebound Productions. Check out some what they got. And don't be afraid to call for a consultation because they're booking already through next year. It's the most important day of your life, someone's life, a daughter's, whatever, anniversary, promise ceremony, whatever it is. Anyone can point and click the camera, but you want that total package and that really well animated and put together piece that is your special day. It's a Cup of Ray down here, game day on a Sunday from the world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill. Be back right after this. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's down here in St. Pete as I have. Looks like we have a big bike club going down First Avenue South, heading obviously down to the waterfront, which is just a few blocks that way. I pose they're probably going to circle out around Beach Drive and come back around the $90 million pier. What a beautiful drive, which is part of what the beauty of being here in downtown St. Petersburg. All of our fans and friends that were over here for opening day on Friday, or maybe they made it over for yesterday's game, that victory over the Baltimore Orioles. Seems like we're always saying victory over the Baltimore Orioles. Bring the brooms today. Let's get the sweep going on here. But I hope when you're out, guys or girls, were over here. If you haven't been here in a minute, or you haven't been here even a couple of months or to a year, I would pose all of a sudden you see condos going up west. Of course, the world famous Ferg Sports Bar and Grill is right here on Central Avenue, just below 16th Street in the Edge district of St. Petersburg, just across the street here from Tropicana Field. Condos, restaurants, another brewery, something's going on here. Ferg seems to grow by the year, and you're noticing all this activity and this downtown stuff that just kind of what is the beautiful part of the burg. And then you had your bike club heading down to the water, probably going to go out and do a lap, wrap it back around Old Northeast. I would pose you come back down 4th Street and do it again. I could run that lap probably 2 or 3 times. I don't mean run literally, but I mean drive. Oh, sorry about that. Maybe you couldn't hear me. So, yeah, when it comes to the 2020 season, let me get a couple of your comments because, Alec up in here at the Edge district of St. Petersburg. Yeah, Alec, I think I met 8 at that time. Mike Stover says, are you at Ferg's, Ray? Yes, Mike, I'm down here at Ferg's. I'm out here on the private party balcony or the party deck out here, out behind second deck or second floor of Ferg's, maybe like 2.5 stories high because it's kind of a little extra high. Of course, you guys know the story here with Coach Ferg, former teacher in Pinellas County himself, buys Ferg's way back in the day when it was basically a small service station and has expanded it out to just encompass a whole 2 or 3, it feels like, city blocks, right? I'm not exactly sure how big an acre is, but this has got to be at least an acre to a half, acre and a half, 2 acres. But as you walk around Ferg's here, you'll look around at different areas. And what Coach did was through all the Pinellas County schools, as the schools, redid their basketball courts or redid field houses, and we repurposed some of those instead of just letting those. And it kind of gives it part of that feel coming down to Ferg's. You kind of feel the history and you feel the nostalgia, and that's why. Being just across the street from Tropicana Field, it's just the natural place to be celebrating opening weekend again as the Orioles are in town. But yeah, I'm down here at Ferg's. Mike, thanks so much for coming in here today. Christian Oakpuzor says, "What's up, Ray? Looking good, brother. Thank you. Am I too dark though? Because I kind of, 52 years old. It's finally happened. I've got credentials today. I'm media credentialed for the Rays game over there. I mean, hey, I've gotten VIP. I've gotten the bottle service before. I've gotten behind the velvet rope. Believe me, I kind of had to trick my way in there. But I mean, we've all gotten those special tickets or knew someone and was able to work a deal. And it's I remember back with the Jonas Brothers, my 20-year-old daughter I was just talking about, that very gifted computer animation artist. We had gotten tickets from her grandmother, Grandma Mary, to go over, and she's like, I got some so and so is no so and so, and we got tickets. And would you like to take her over at the 1-800 amphitheater, or whatever it is, that where they have the concerts over there next to next to the casino. And I'm like, sure, Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, sounds good. It's a couple of minutes ago, so I'm dating myself as far as that musical. And they were rocking though. The Jonas Brothers were rocking it. We get there, and then she's handing us these tickets, and then this, the lanyard and other tickets, and she's like, this is to go backstage, and this is to basically get in their trailer and have dinner with them, and it was crazy. So, we've all had that, but 52 years old, I finally, for the first time in my life, am actually going to be a media credentialed attendant over here behind me at Tropicana Field today for the Rays game. And the reason why I wanted to bring that out here, I don't do it without you, and thank you for your help. This thing we got going here, this platform, this Bucs Report, this talking, 2019 best local columnist as recognized best of the Bay by Creative Loafing. Just the things, I do it because I love the interaction, and I hope that you all enjoy the interaction with me. And this is what we're doing, and it helps me to continue to work harder and, put my nose to the grindstone, keep my head down, and just keep pedaling forward. And it happens today, thanks to Sports Talk Florida. Jimmy Williams, Jimmy Bills, who I'm going to have. Oh, my gosh, I forgot to send him a link. I was going to have him come on here today. Jimmy, I'm still going to try to get it to you. Wanted to talk with you about it. Thanks to Sports Talk Florida and Sports News Florida, I actually do have a chance today to be, and I'm going to it's different, right? Because the Bucs Report thing I've been doing for 3 years, writing about the Bucs, and it always flows from the heart. And that's one of the things I hope you guys and girls appreciate about my writing, is that it's spiritual for us, for me. And it's like, well, what's going on? The boots on the ground, this is, and it may not always, we don't always agree. And that's why I'm interested to see your the biggest moment for 2020 postseason for the Buccaneers as they march towards Super Bowl 55. What was that turning point? I already threw deuces out there. I'll throw another one out there. Washington football team. I'm not going to call them the Commanders yet. Montez Sweat and Chase Young, that defensive line, that pressure, and a beer guy named Heineken, and giving the Bucs all they could handle in the wild card game. And we're always and this is the team that is the only reason why they won their division, the NFC least, which they still have it. Although I would pose now with Devontae leaving the Packers, and we'll see what happens with the Vikings getting stronger. The Bears have a new coach. Lions, they're yeah, NFC least is going to stay there. I mean, you could make an argument for the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Washington football team, or the Giants. They're all we see improving and parity in the league. I would say the NFC North jumps ahead of the NFC East first. What do you guys and girls think? Let me get to another comment here. Marcus Sullivan says, I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Let me tell you, my condition's in a great condition. I sat by the pool with Harry the Greek last night, very late. We had a fire going. He was sipping some kind of cognac, had that bottle service poolside, sitting by the pool, and I was sipping a couple of High Lives, and we were just talking about stuff, and just been a great weekend. And then again, first time I'm ever going to be a credentialed media member to cover the Rays and the Orioles in Game 3 of this opening weekend series is very exciting. So again, thank you to everyone for the support out there. Alex Schomburg says, side note, I love how everyone is copying how they have their championship rings looking. Yeah, and let's get one for 57, right? And Marcus Sullivan says, good wood morning, Ray. Have a great show and a blessed week. Marcus, again, my soul brother. Yeah, always bringing it. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping in here. I will, and you have a good week yourself. Alex says, the Bucs. Let me go back to Alex's previous question. It seems like, side note, I love how everyone is copying how they have their championship rings looking like the Bucs. Okay. Matt Cox says, congrats, Ray. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Frank Johnson, congratulations. Yeah, hey, I'm representing, and I know this is Bucs Report, and this is me. This is us. This is my love. This is my hustle now, going on 5 years, and I've loved every second of it. And I hope you all are enjoying it. But expanding out, and even if it wasn't Tampa Bay, even if we didn't have back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, the Lightning, who now are on a 4-game losing streak, hosting the Buffalo Sabres today, like to see them get off that schneid. I hope they're just keeping that extra gear and saving it for the playoffs. They got 10 regular season games to go. I know I was talking to my girl, Lori White. She's one of the best, hardest working 50-50 ticket reps over there at the Amalie Arena. So if you're looking for 50-50s, I think she's section 108, but she probably works a large section because she's a hustler. Look for Lori, and if you win the 50-50 from Lori, I get 10% for mentioning it here. Matt Cox. Oh, I was saying, well, let me go back. I was saying that even if it wasn't for Tampa Bay and back-to-back American League East champion, Tampa Bay Rays, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning, Super Bowl 55 champion Buccaneers, as well as the 2021 divisional round where we lose to the eventual world champion. I hate saying the world champion Los Angeles Rams. Just doesn't come out right. Let's make that go away. Matt Cox says, turning point is when we beat the Saints in a divisional round with Devin White's pick to steal the game. Matt, did you peek at my Facebook page? Because that's what really got me on this whole narrative on a Sunday morning is like all the things, the 4 in a row to end the season. Tom, after the bye week in 12, he gets this all of a sudden. Tom's, he's making calls and he's talking to people. He's always the leader that Tom Brady is, but now he's. And not just Tom Brady, but as Tom continues to finally have that offensive philosophy or that scheme assimilated, it seems like everybody else got real comfortable too because he's able to better direct them. And I think it always, and just Tom coming here in 2020 always made everybody work a little bit harder. But yeah, they get that going. Love it. That because again, 11 for 11 they were in that 38-3 thrashing the Bucs took it from New Orleans Saints earlier in the season. Also lost both games. In fact, that last season in 2020, Tom Brady's 0-4 against the Saints in the regular season. Bucs won the one that really counts, but Devin White I think it was Drew Brees was 11 for 11 against Devin White in that game. As Jameis famously walks off the sideline and continues eating W's. Man, of all the things, I hope that kid has success, but not enough to beat the Bucs. But I think he's going to. He's a talented quarterback. If they get him in that get him the defense under Dennis Allen, and they don't ask too much of him, get a good running. Well, Kamara's a good running game, good running back, but I think they could use him more. I always posed if he had Derrick Henry and a pass play action. But I hope his W eating. James, you can continue eating W's because you don't have to prove anything to us, but it's just a silly look. And I have something else that's a silly look too. I'm going to ask you all something in a minute. I want to know what you think. Alex Schumber says, just don't say baseball around Johnny Dean. Yeah, the professor will be all over. The professor will keep me after class for that one, Alec. Let's go Lightning. Yeah, got to get off the schneid though. 4 in a row they've lost. The Lightning have. And then Mike Stover says, damn, you beat me to it. I wonder if I can actually sit down. No, I'm going to stand up. Can I ask y'all something about something? Okay. Us watching sports, not just attending sports, being fans in a stadium, although that's kind of where I'm going with this question. Us watching sports, if it wasn't for the fact that sports and advertisers could sell advertising on sports, and this is going back to since the beginning of television, since the beginning of radio. If you didn't have when Jackie Robinson, hits a home run, or when Hank Aaron breaks the home run, or when Babe Ruth, Babe Ruth, that was before. Well, it was still radio. But when they cut away from the game, if they couldn't sell advertising, the league wouldn't make that money and this and that. But it comes down to it's the television and the fans buying the advertising. And now in 2022, also participating in a FanDuel and a Bally's and a Caesars Sportsbook, getting that in. And look at the revenues the leagues are generating from that. So there are other revenue generators. But what I'm getting at is I remember when we ran in 2020, Tom Brady was a rookie on the New England Patriots team, and Drew Bledsoe came into Tampa Stadium and Raymond James, and we ran him out of the game. First of all, the Bucs defense just obliterated the Patriots that game. But if anyone out there is watching right now, please share, because you were there. You'll know this is true. Right or wrong, we're fans, and we were yelling, Bledsoe, Bledsoe, and it got so loud and so continuous, and he was having a bad day because of the Bucs defense, because of Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks and Rondé and John Lynch and what they were doing. But we got so into his head that the coach, Belichick, actually had to pull him. I wanted to say, it was Belichick, because I wanted to say it was almost Parcells was still the coach, but no, it was 2000. And he pulled him from the game because it was literally this took over the narrative of the game. It was the fans in Raymond James Stadium, and it was one of my proudest days as a non-combatant fan member, because not so much because we ran a guy from the game, but Bledsoe got his. He had just signed a $100 million contract when the Patriots draft Tom Brady at 199 in the 6th round, literally the year before. He was getting his. He was still a great quarterback, but he had a bad day against a very good defense, but we ran him out of the game. The reason why I'm going here, and I know I'm getting lengthy with this, I'll get back to your comments in a second, is of all the things that I've seen players do, Terrell eating popcorn, or, oh God, remember Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco putting on the Hall of Fame jacket. That was so tasteless for the league, coaches, players, and I thought it was tacky. This whole thing where players score, and then they're running down the sidelines and they're trying to shush the crowd. I'm not saying you're not doing a Deshaun Watson. You don't have allegedly 22 civil suits against you. I'm not saying you're doing something like egregious to the point of like you're disrespecting the Shield or you're but you're shushing us. And let me give you guys and girls and professional athletes of any ilk, let me give you guys a little something. If you shush us up enough, we don't even watch. Your salaries will go down a lot. Of course, sports books will probably still keep them up for a while, because even if we're not watching or attending in person, we're still going to be wanting to make a little bank and putting a little wager down on it. But, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying from my standpoint, tasteless that these players, because we're supposed to get loud, just like when our team goes into your stadium, your fans are getting loud. And I get now throwing batteries or throwing Cokes, throwing beer, popcorn, throwing anything at a player, making racial or any kind of remarks toward a player about their family, that's worse for me from a fan standpoint. But other than that, we're going to give it to you. It's what we're supposed to do. It's why there's 68,000 screaming fans at Raymond James Stadium, making it hell. Of course, it's not 68,000, because now we're opening a whole nother can of worms with the whole selling tickets to other people, but I'll go there another day. I don't want to waste time here on a beautiful 64 degrees, beautiful sunny day here in St. Petersburg. Easter's next Sunday. But don't shush us. Shush the players. And I don't have a problem with Tyreek throwing deuces down the field. And I don't have a problem with Antoine Winfield throwing deuces over Tyreek on his field, although he's over him. So now I get it. You can kind of go taunting. If you're over him, you're in him. He bent down, which we loved, right? Again, one of the phenomenal postseason. I'm going to get back to your comments, because that's the question here, guys and girls just tuning in. What was your favorite part? Maybe it was just winning Super Bowl 55, obviously, but the turning point, the most crucial, one of the crucial moments for you of the 2020 postseason as the Bucs marched on to Super Bowl 55 victory. That's the question here on Cup of Ray on a Sunday. Let's see here. Let me go back here. Harry Berg says, "Great view, brother. Thank you." And I know you can't really see the stadium roof because it's white, and of course it's orange at night when the Rays win, like it was last night. But you can see the actual size of the stadium. And your boy's in there today in the press room. Yes, I am. Looking forward to that. Thank you all again for helping me get there. Mike Stover says, "I'm hoping we sweep New Orleans." Yeah, I said it. 2020 season has the Rams coming here, the Bengals coming here, the Chiefs coming here. Of course, any one of those three games could be that game in play to go over to Munich. Bucs go out to Levi Stadium and play against those 49ers. All four of the teams that were in the championship. Great schedule. Play the Ravens at home. But I pose that Tom, as he's coming back, I'm sure it had to be in the front of his mind. And yeah, Tom, I'm gonna go ahead and put words in your mouth that as you're coming back, you're like, check this box, check that, check another ring, check this, oldest player to ever play in the NFL, oldest player quarterback to ever start in the NFL, and then let's check that 0-4 against the Saints in the regular season as a Buccaneer quarterback, because that needs to go to 2-4 with a sweep this week, and then hell, let's go and even it out with two more next year as the Bucs go for their fourth Lombardi championship in team history. So see how I'm going there. Let's see. Alex Number says, "I'm already done betting for the year. I already made my money and beat the books last 3 days." Alec, I know you were having a good roll. And I know I forgot, you said you bet Cardinals? Alex says, "Well, until football season." Yeah, put it down. YouTube out here. Good morning, Mark Holmes says. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for joining us. So go ahead, and since the comments aren't flowing in, I'll give you guys a second to digest in a little bit and share. Again, I haven't really had anyone. I had one person that said it was that interception, Devin White's interception against the Saints in the postseason. Turned that game around because we were snake bit. Remember, the last time the Bucs had played the Saints before that game, the Bucs lost 38-3, 35 points. Same exact point margin which the Saints beat the Packers in Week 1 in 2021, which is kind of weird. But that was a big point. The deuces was a big point. Again, getting off almost losing in a wild card game to that Washington football team. Obviously, the Scotty Miller right before, that was a backbreaker, right? Imagine the entire second half of that NFC Championship game. The Bucs were already in control. You already felt that the Bucs were way more than the Packers could handle. But it was a microcosm of the entire season that the Bucs get the first down. It was Chris Godwin, right? Picks up the first down, gets out of bounds. There's 4 seconds. So you're like, they're going to go for a field goal. They're not going to go for a field goal. Or they're going to just throw it. And then, again, Scotty Miller gets behind the defense wide open for the pass. It's literally the same thing that happens again with Cooper Kupp. Not the same pass, obviously, but the same type of a play with a Cooper Kupp in the NFC playoff game last season. That's what offenses are supposed to do. They're supposed to come up with schemes to trick the defenses, and the defenses are supposed to come up with schemes to trick, well, you guys, girls know how this works. Let's see here. Alex says, "Made 2K on the Cardinals games." Nice, Alec. When are you going to share some of that, brother? Alec also says, "The turning point was the Falcons game when we came back and won that game." Yeah, because they were still that was the last game of the regular season, right? And great call on that, Alec, because the Bucs, we talk about the narrative as they went 4-0 to end the season and then 4-0 in the playoffs to win that Super Bowl. But that last game against the Falcons, and Coach Arians lays out before that game, here's our playoff scenarios, boom, 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 and boom. And, wanting to beat those Falcons, one would pose the Bucs still are in those playoffs, but it's almost like, but it's almost like they needed to do that to continue to show themselves that they could lock this thing down. And I think that victory in week 16 or 17, but it was a 16-game season against the Falcons, is part of the reason why the Bucs go 31. The reason why they end up beating KC so handily in the Super Bowl. And then, of course, the Bucs lose to the Chiefs so badly. Tyreek Hill had 500 yards and like 17 touchdowns in the first half, and you're like, oh, here we are facing them. But Bucs fans, sure, here, I don't think we ever. Of course, it was in doubt. They're all in every game. That's why they play the games. But you're like, I got a feeling this time. I got a feeling with the way Tom had that offense humming. Then he's gotten it after that bye week, and then the Bucs got undefeated 7 games up to that Super Bowl, and the way that Todd Bowles' defense was playing, coming together, and the way everybody all season they were playing with the common goal of a championship. But all of a sudden, you saw it where when you practice so hard and you get to your spots and you keep your head in the, I could throw in all kinds of euphemisms here, but when you're doing it the way you're supposed to do it, which the Bucs just seem to be cranking on all cylinders when they reach Super Bowl 55, and then it's at Raymond James Stadium in a world that's still halfway through a pandemic, and you're still having to get socially distanced and the cardboard cutouts, but and the weekend and all the great stuff about it was. But yeah, 100%. Totally agree. That Falcons game was a big turnaround, Alec. Mark Holmes says, thought of the Tom Brady to Miami for 2023. Mark, I tell you what, I'm rooting for Tua. And I'm rooting for Tua because I like the left-handed kid. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he had to overcome a serious hip injury. The Dolphins take him out of Alabama. But I watched the way that kid flicks the ball. They got the cheetah Tyreek Hill down there, and the way that, and I would have loved to have seen this team with an offensive coordinator, with an offense going in the direction they're going at, but still with a Brian Flores coaching that defense, because he had, Lord knows, he had that Dolphins defense really going to a better place. Hopefully they can still do it. But if you're asking me my thought of Tom Brady to Miami 2023, I'm really hoping that Tua has a great season. Obviously, because if Tua doesn't have a great season, that would pose the argument that maybe the tank for Tua experiment is over. Maybe Stephen Ross was right all along. They should have got Brian Flores should have got those $100,000 a loss and went for that top overall pick and took the quarterback out of LSU and Joe Burrow, or maybe Flores should have got on that yacht in the marina 2 years ago and in the tampering period when it was still would have been illegal. If it happened, allegedly, and talk to a Tom Brady about locking him down to go to Miami in 2020 instead of Tampa Bay, that's all water under the 7 Mile Bridge as you're driving out to Key West. But thoughts about Tom in 2023? If Kyle Trask is ready, if that's what Tom needs to do, if he doesn't sign an extension, I mean, this is a business. Just like we made for so long, Bucs fans. You saw him let a Trent Dilfer go and a Testaverde go, or you saw players go on, and you just went, it's a business. It's a business. It wasn't working, and at the end of the day, it's all about taking care of yours. And if that's what Tom and Giselle and the entire family, because Lord knows the kids are now big enough, old enough that they definitely, I think they've always had a say. If that's where Tom needs to go, but Kyle Trask gets that next season, maybe beats Blaine Gabbert. Of course, the news this last week was Blaine Gabbert back under contract, so the Bucs still have Ryan Griffin, Blaine Gabbert, Kyle Trask, and Tom Brady. But if Trask beats out Griffin in the preseason for that number 2 spot, I think paying $2 million to Blaine Gabbert, sure, that kid knows this offense, but he's getting paid to do a job. And again, it's a business, just like we talk about Tom Brady being in Miami in 2023. But if Kyle Trask, his second year in the system, has this locked down and has learned it enough to be your second string quarterback, and you got Blaine, but again, you got to remember now, you got to have trust, because if one of Tom's cleats comes out, or if the headset in his helmet, whatever it is, he needs to get a finger taped up because he wants to get a better grip on a football. He comes out to the sideline. You got to trust that quarterback that goes in is going to continue the flow of the game, and we know we've got that with a Blaine Gabbert. We saw it before the kid gets injured in 2019 in the preseason against those Miami Dolphins, and he breaks his shoulder collarbone. How'd you get me to go off on that one, Mark? Great job, though. You got me to rant. Marcus Sullivan says, most definitely agree with you on that. Marcus, I know if you're agreeing with me, brother, it's just we're like simpatico, right? Alex Schumber says, it was the game in Atlanta. Yeah, 100%. So let me go ahead and get off of, I've already talked a little bit about baseball. Let me do one thing real quick. I am going to, you guys forgive me for 1 second. We'll take a quick commercial break. I'll be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for that. I had to take a second, send a message, because I was hoping to have a special guest come on here with me today, and we'll see if he's still able to make it. I wanted to talk a little bit about Tiger Woods. I hope we're close enough that I can go off the beaten path enough that we can talk about a Tiger Woods, because just really, Friday, I videotaped. I worked my VCR and I hit record. And does anyone even have a VCR? Someone out there has a VCR. Share it with the comments. I love it, because I don't. In fact, I don't have a DVD player. Let me see what this message right here says. Sorry, guys. So I actually taped the full round of the Masters because I needed to see Tiger's return. Still less than 2 years away from a pretty horrendous accident out there in California on a winding road. He was filming some type of a golf instructional thing or Tiger doing his thing and has that accident and really hurts himself. Is he ever going to play again? Is he ever going to, how's he going to walk? How long is it going to be? Then we see him 6 weeks, 2 months ago. He plays that round with his son, father-son tournament, which was awesome. But it's like, okay, it's straight flat. It's not a municipal course, but it's not the rolling hills and the Augusta National Golf Course. It's not that, right? So how's Tiger going to do? Tiger shows up on Friday, just 1 under on Thursday, has a 1 under par, shoots a 71. And I think that's just phenomenal. Felt like you're still grasping, but you're wanting to see this cat. You're wanting to see him, have that success. Ends up going up 1.3 over on Friday, but then still finishes, I think, was 2 under, maybe. I'm not exactly sure on the scores. But then yesterday it got away from him, and the cold came in, like we have here, beautiful, nice cold. Oh, I see all the tailgaters over across the street at Tropicana Field. Look at that, playing throwing a football at a baseball game, got the cornhole, bunch of cars lining up, people having a great day, enjoying a beautiful spring day down here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Of course, I'm down here at the world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill on Central Avenue, just below 6th. I screwed it up that time. I'll try it again. Love to see people tailgating, and this parking lot's packed over here. It's going to be a fantastic game, Game 3 against the Orioles today. Cole goes into Atlanta, and Tiger said going in, Tiger said this, a week ago or 2 weeks ago after a couple practice rounds when people started saying, wow, this, there's a reality that Tiger, his private jet circled Augusta. He's there. He played a practice round, and he announces he's playing in it. And he said the cold weather would be one thing with the titanium and all the stuff in his legs and everything, just valiantly still playing, but the cold weather. And those of us that have an injury, any kind of back or a leg or a neck, I'm sure that cold weather, actually the changing of the humidity sometimes too, or rain, but especially when all of a sudden, because at Augusta that was really breezy and humid on Wednesday or Thursday, then it's rainy and transitioning on Friday. Cold weather in there for Saturday, and then Tiger shoots like a 20 over. Not that bad, but he was out of it. But what I pose here is that once again we saw greatness. I remember Payne Stewart and the terrible thing that happened with the airplane crash with Payne and how we all saw that on the news. But I can remember guys like Jack Nicklaus, the Golden Bear. I want to say I do remember Arnie Palmer. Seems like I remember him more when he was doing Pennzoil commercials on a tractor. Great golfers, Greg Norman, the Shark. I remember lefty Vijay Singh. Watched great golfers from a distance, never followed it enough. Friday, taped that, DVR'd that full round and actually sat and watched a full round. Now, of course, they were mostly following the foursome that Tiger was playing in, but I love golf. It's just that there's always so much other stuff on. It's like the light on the wall with the cat. I'm just trying to scratch at the laser light. Don't ever really have a chance to watch it. But as I'm watching Tiger and we're rooting for him and what he's overcome with the injury and he's getting back and playing on the biggest stage, does Tiger Woods ever win another? I mean, if you go on Thursday's performance alone, you say, yeah, he's going to win a major at some point. But we were all wondering if we were ever going to see him get onto the senior circuit or ever swing a golf club again after what happened in that accident. I think this weekend, even though the Saturday results and then going into Sunday, we kind of saw that, a little bit of catch up with him with that injury that he's still recovering from. I pose that we got another look at greatness. And, greatness doesn't always end in a green jacket. Greatness doesn't always end with holding a big check or, holding a Wimbledon. Sometimes greatness is just in a performance and the gut check and the necessity that these guys have to pull off something like Tiger did and coming back and playing at Augusta. Will we see him again? You're not going to doubt Tiger at this point, right? Just like you shouldn't have doubted Tom Brady 2 years ago. I'm going to go ahead and bring this cat in here right now to the show. Of course, you know him as Jim Williams from Sports Talk Florida. I call him Jimmy Bills. He's my co-host on Buccaneers game day shows here on Bucs Report. I'll bring him in right here. Jim, how are you today?
I'm well. I caught the part where you're talking about Tiger. And,
yes, sir.
And that's you bring up an amazing point. 14 months ago, Tiger barely survived a very treacherous automobile accident out in Los Angeles.
Right.
And he basically had his left leg and ankle totally rebuilt. And for him to be out on a course, albeit Augusta, where he's familiar, um, just to play competitive golf, that's a pretty
Yes.
big story. And the fact that
Yes.
he made the cut when guys like Jordan Spieth and some fantastic athletes didn't, is a testament to the fact that this guy is 48 years old. He changed his golf swing entirely,
Mm,
um, from a standpoint of most golfers, the core is at the with their legs and with their lower body, and he changed his entire style to be an upper body
yes. You noticed that.
situation. Yeah,
Well, no, and plus he's got the microfusion in the back with the surgery. The
right.
guy he's had his knee rebuilt how many times because of that torque he always used to
Two.
drive from the
He had
right.
he had two. Both knees were rebuilt.
And now you go lower to the ankle and the bottom shin,
Right.
and you
Mhm.
watched him, and you're still talking like you said so goodly, so goodly. He said so
So goodly.
succinctly
That's
there.
why we have you here,
Goodly.
Ray. It's your immense vocabulary.
My verbose
Yeah.
vocabulary. But I mean, the guy still makes it to the cut in the Masters tournament, and the cold weather came in, and we saw everyone out there wearing the jackets and the this and that, and of course you had to understand. I would pose that even without the cold weather, we can't say for sure, but it was the third day in a row of playing a full round on the up and down greens at Augusta. At some point, even a Tiger Woods has got to just go, okay, I'm just going to maintain my respectability,
Right.
which I would pose just keep your head up, Tiger, because we were all rooting for you. I would have liked, I heard someone told me that the odds, I want to talk to Chris King about this from
Yeah.
Winners and Miners, but the odds on Tiger to even have made the cut was 20-1 on Wednesday. And it's
Oh, it
like,
was more than that. It
oh,
was
was it?
45.
Wow. So you could have dropped $10 on Tiger to make the cut, and you'd have walked away with
I
450.
know a lot of people who did. Um,
Wow.
but the thing too, Ray, that I was looking uh, at past columns that I've done, and the last column that my last trip to Augusta was 2016, and I've been there about 14 times, and I think one of the things that people don't understand is how hilly the course is.
Yes.
It's not particularly a. I mean, if you look at the course, it's gorgeous. Okay, but it's you know what you're looking at is it penalizes people who can't play three types of. It was built by Bobby Jones with the
Right.
concept of you had to be a complete golfer. Okay, yes, if you drive the ball long, that helps you, but you have to play well with your iron shots, and you have to play well, obviously, as a putter.
All right.
And those are the three elements of the game that everybody has to play. And so Augusta rewards players who can play a complete game. Um, and one of the things that ironically went against Tiger this weekend was the fact that a few years ago, probably closer to a decade ago, what quote unquote Tiger proofed it. They made Augusta longer.
Yes, they did. Ooh.
So here's Tiger playing a long course. It's up and down, hill wise. The wind is wicked, which at Augusta is a problem because the winds at Augusta, because as you see all those gorgeous trees, causes a more of a swirling effect as opposed to a front on or a wind that might be behind you or in front of you.
Right.
So
Which
you
is
have to,
why with the cold front
yeah,
this week, especially the
yeah,
changing wind. First, the winds are coming hard out of the south southwest, and then they're coming out of the north, and
right,
with the cold air. But Jim, let me ask you
right,
this. I
sure,
apologize. I actually
yeah,
brought you on here for a reason, but since you mentioned your writing and you're covering the Masters tournament, I
uh huh.
mentioned again today. I got to thank you. You're my guy. You got me credentialed over here. I'm going to actually be over in Tropicana Field for today's 1 o'clock Rays Orioles game. You're giving me the
Well,
opportunity. It's a great opportunity to write. Go ahead and share with
great.
everyone out there where they're going to be able to see some of me writing a little bit about the Rays.
Well, I got to say, first of all, I've had so much fun with you, Ray, over the past few months that we had the opportunity to work together on the Bucks report. And kudos to Keith and the whole team at Bucks Report who do a wonderful job.
Yes.
And so our relationship has grown. We've grown as friends, and uh, you know what I did recognize, and I know that everybody who watches Cup of Ray already knows what I'm about to say, is that you're a passionate guy, you're a talented guy, and you're a very good writer and communicator.
Well, thank you.
And so we felt that it was important at Sports Talk Florida to bring the that enthusiasm, that passion, and that ability to write entertaining content to our readers and to our viewers at Sports Talk Florida. So we're going to have Ray Kennedy as one of our Bucks reporter. Well, definitely one of our Bucks reporters, along with someone everybody already knows, our buddy and very talented young woman who writes for us over there.
Yes.
Excuse me, I've got to I got to grab a quick drink of water before I mention her name. You can go ahead and mention if you like while I'm drinking a
No,
little
but
water.
well, I'll let you. But I got to ask you. I going into this, I've been reading Steve Kinsella for a while. Of course, he's
Right.
locking it down with the Rays coverage on Sports Talk Florida. Now all of a sudden here I am today. Now today I actually officially, once I go into Tropicana Field over there with my media credentials, I actually become an official. I want to say an associate, if you will, because I talk about Hubert Mizell. We talk about Gary Shelton. We talk about
Don't
McEwen.
forget Tom McEwen. Yeah.
Tom McEwen. We talk
My old
about
boss. Yeah.
yeah, well, and I mean, and I say this, and I've never said this with a smirk face or not from the heart.
Hmm.
Being again winning the 2019 Creative Loafing Best of the Bay, Best Local Columnist, but being able to lock it down here with live coverage, I truly do stand on the shoulders of giants, and I mean that because Hubert Mizell, growing up, he was my guy, of course, because I was Pinellas County, but my
Right.
guys in Tampa with the Trib were always my guys because they were locking it down right there at the Bucs, at Raymond, at the old $1 facility, little mini trailer next to the airport. But even going back to just some local people, we had Andy Hardy locking it down with the sports on TVT,
Right.
and Dick Crippen. But the thing is
Right.
now all of a sudden, tell me about Steve Kinsella. Tell everyone about Steve Kinsella out there because now I'm going to get a chance to work with this cat, and I'm a little intimidated, Jim.
Well, don't be number one. He's There might not be a nicer guy on the planet than Steve Kinsella. He is genuinely one of the true sweethearts out there. But that being said, Steve Kinsella is a baseball, encyclopedia, and he has written some of the most passionate and some of the most intelligent uh, baseball columns. I will put, and this is, I know Mark very well, Mark Tompkin over at
Yes,
the Times.
locking it down for the
Um,
Rays over the times.
okay,
Yes,
even Topkin likes Kinsella from a standpoint of understanding and knowledge of baseball. He understands and loves the Rays. Okay, but he understands and loves baseball in total. And I think that's what Steve brings. Steve brings a passion, but Steve's been to every major league winter meeting for over a decade. So
wow,
it's not just his understanding of the Rays that he brings, it's his understanding of how baseball works, how baseball, and specifically how baseball in 2022 and beyond works. And so, what we try to do, look, we know at Sports Talk Florida that, we're not going to be the first people to give you the score of the game. We're not going to be the first people that people turn to find out what happened on that day. I mean, that's going to be the Times, or it's going to be one of the local television stations. Understood. But what we want to give you, and Michelle Sabin, who I was about to mention with the
right?
Bucks,
Sorry to bring her back, but
and,
yes,
and
she's locking it.
and very soon Ray Kennedy to that mix. Okay,
Now you're
we
talking.
we cover sports with people who are passionate about it. Okay, they go to the press boxes and they don't wear Buccaneers gear, or they don't wear Rays gear. They're there as an objective observer. And I think the most important thing that we have done over the years at Sports Talk Florida is we have given people an honest evaluation. Sometimes that's not been easy because it sometimes doesn't, we don't look like um, we are fans of the team. Well, that's not our job. Our job is not to be the fans of the team. Our job is to report to you what we see as objective reporters and say to you, okay, here's what it is. It doesn't mean we don't want them to win. I mean,
Oh yeah.
everything is better. Everything's better when the teams win, right?
But Jim, I'm gonna
But
hold you up. I gotta hold you up there.
go.
I know I'm taking you off a thought line, but
No, go ahead.
I'm adapting to the format, okay? Because
Yeah,
I was talking about this in the opening of the show. I've been writing for Bucs Report now going on 5 years. I've always locked in and I've been a specific way. Now all of a sudden, and I don't mean intimidated by the fact that I don't accept the challenge. I'm looking so forward to it, but
sure.
the writing style, the way we do things at Sports Talk Florida, the way we write a story and the way we post it and the way we
Hmm.
run it. It's taken me a minute, but I'm working hard at it. But I hope everyone out there realizes, like you're saying, that, and it's not that we haven't been doing it right at the Bucks Report. We have been. It's just that's the way I've been doing it for so long. It's taking a little of adaptability, and the best part for me about it is that I'm also going to be able to take what I'm learning, what I've learned from Bucks Report, bringing it over to Sports Talk Florida.
Sure.
And then what I'm learning at Sports Talk Florida, I'm bringing it back to Bucks Report or any
Hmm.
place else where I'm writing. Because really, writing, when it comes down to it, you know this more than anyone else. The more you do, doesn't necessarily mean always the better you get. Of course, you had to have started with a base of some type, but the more you do get better at it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: writing sports. Um, Shirley Povich, who for many years was the iconic sports editor of the Washington Post. Maury Povich's father, by the way.
Oh, I did not
Um,
know that.
yeah, more Shirley Povich started as the sports editor of the Washington Post in 1922
Wow.
as a 23-year-old sports editor. Um, he covered Lou Gehrig,
Wow.
and I was actually in the press box that evening when Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's record.
Oh, you're kidding me, for the most consecutive games played?
Right. So
Oh, you were there at Camden
it
Yards when he did that?
well the night before and the night of, yeah.
Wow, that was a big moment.
Um,
That was probably the last great moment I can remember in Baltimore. And what a great story, because again, the Orioles are in town today for Game 3 against the Rays
right.
here at Tropicana Field. But sorry, go
But
ahead.
but no, but the point was that so was Shirley Povich.
Right.
Um, and so here's a guy, who was at Lou Gehrig's
Wow.
epic um, run, and then of course was there for Cal Ripken. But the point was great sports writing. Lou Gehrig, I'm sorry, Shirley Povich once said that um, that sports is the toy department of news, and what he meant was that you need to take it not as seriously, but you need to understand that the most important thing we have in
Right.
sports are stories. And what
Yes.
we want with Steve Kinsellas, with Michelle Savins, with Ray Kennedy's, with Jim Williams, with others, are people who will tell you a story.
Mm,
Okay. There's a
yes.
reason why a team wins or a team loses. But the most important thing that we can do as sports writers, and specifically in this time of where everybody's got clickbait, headlines and all that other stuff, is to give you the fans stories that give you more than just who won and why they won.
Yes.
Okay, make you understand why certain players that you are going to see, why Shoshana Otani is a freak. Okay, there's a, there's a reason why this has only happened twice in 122 years of baseball. Okay,
Yes.
there's a reason why you need to care about the Tampa Bay Rays. There's a
Well,
reason why
Jim, I'll
you
tell
need to
you what.
care about.
Also, there's a reason why you trade in Austin Meadows, which the
Right.
Rays just did 2 weeks ago. but you're making room on a roster to bring up a Brandon Lowe that you've got
Mhm.
down there at Durham, and you're making room for this kid. He doesn't have the offensive numbers that Meadows had last season as the Rays get to 100 victories, but you got some people. You look at a lot of people that are a little short-sighted, and I don't mean short-sighted. I mean people who don't have a chance. They don't get that
Right.
narrative in that 140 character pop they get on their phone. Is that you understand a team anywhere across the Major League Baseball? Sometimes you make a move because you're investing for the future. You're
Right.
bringing in low and selling high, but you're also making room for talent somewhere in your farm system to come up. So on the face of it, you're thinking, wow, they got rid of one of our most
Mhm.
former all-star in Austin Meadows and one of our
Right.
best offensive productions in 2021. But at the same time, you got to keep making. You don't want to. So that's what you're talking about, though. You're talking about being able to not just say, oh, Rays won or Rays lost, and here's what happened. There were, so and so was 3 for 5. This pitcher went 4 innings, and he didn't get the win. Like McClanahan didn't get on Friday
Right.
because. Anyway, I'm sorry. I got two questions for you, Jim. I hate
Sure.
to do this, because I'm
No,
going to have to be
go ahead.
wrapping it up here. They're getting ready out here on the party deck for they're going to have this place mobbed like they did Friday and Saturday. Because who wouldn't want to be able to? I know that the dome, the roof of the dome doesn't come across as much on the camera as much as it should, but who wouldn't want to be on a private party deck when it's 65 degrees and sunny? The sun's going to come over and it actually sets in the west, and this ends up being a beautiful place to just sit and catch some rays. Two
Mhm.
questions, Jim.
No pun intended.
That roof is lit up orange because the Rays sweep those Orioles and go 3-0. I don't say hopefully because I care. I'm just saying hopefully for Tampa Bay fans in general.
Right.
But you talk about Povich, who was at the Lou Gehrig when he sets the, the,
Mhm.
the, the record, and you talk about a Cal Ripken when he breaks Lou Gehrig's record.
Right.
I'm not saying this is cause for cause why players should be punished for doing this, but what do you think, Jim, these days when you see like the NFL, for example, you see players that get a breakout play and they're running down the sidelines and they shush the crowd, or you see a basketball player slam home. Now I know these guys are out there on the field of play with their hearts all over the place, and they are
Mhm.
working and hustling, and they're making that they're working hard to make that $20 million a year, but fans and stands are supposed to make noise. We're supposed to do. I don't. This whole thing where these players shush the crowds. I'm not saying that they're breaking any sins, but what do you think when you see that, Jim? Does that rub you in a weird kind of way, or is that just part of the
Well,
game?
no, I think that you go to a game to enjoy yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Now, you know, and I say that within reason, of course.
Yeah.
Enjoying yourself, does not mean you throw things on the field or that
No.
that you're allowed to boo and you're allowed to yell, within reason at things that you don't like or the things that you do. I think that um, players understand, and especially, this is what I really enjoy seeing is players enjoy playing.
Yes.
And if that means a bat flip, when a guy hits a home run or he stands there
Yes.
for a second and watches it, I'm good with that. I think that's fantastic. I think we need, especially in baseball, we need to have personalities and we need to have people who enjoy the game and people that we enjoy watching.
Right.
And so, as far as shushing the crowd and all that, I think that, you know, as cliche as it may sound, players need to play, fans need to enjoy the game, managers need to manage, and owners need to own. And when you start messing around with that deal, that's where you come in. But at the end of
Right.
the day, this should be fun. You should be able to go to the Trop, spend 3 hours, and no matter whether you have what kind of job you have, what you had, a good day, a bad day, or whatever, you need those 3 hours to just sit there and say, you know what, I'm checking out. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy the Rays game, and then that's my 3 hour respite for the day, and
Yes.
then I get back to life. But for those 3 hours, whether it's a Rays game or a Bucs game or a Lightning game or a University of Florida football game or whatever
Yes.
it is, I need, or even the Masters for that matter, I need to unplug for 3 hours, and this gives me pleasure, and that's why a Ray Kennedy, a Steve Kinsella, Michelle Saban, and all our brothers and sisters within other parts of the media
Hmm.
have stories to tell, is because they sit there and what I've said, and I don't mean to make this sound too
Cliche.
amazingly over the top, but we have I for 40 some years I've had a front row seat to history.
Yes.
And today, Ray Kennedy has his first day at a front row seat in history. And I only say that because when you're in the press box, it's so much different than watching a game in on television or even in the stands. There's a level of professionalism there that you that says, you know what, as a writer, I've arrived. I am here um,
Yes, sir.
because I earned it, and
You get
it's
to
like
see how the
make it into the
sausage is
bit.
made. You get to
It's
see,
yeah,
right, how that sausage is made, and it's not.
right,
I mean, obviously, the story is on the field of play or on the court
right,
or in front of us, and we are only so fortunate to be in a position to be able to try to help tell that story. But
right,
you're seeing these professionals, these people that are they take this so seriously, and they've been doing it for varying lengths of time. But again, you're in there and you're seeing how that sausage is made, brother. And excuse me, I got a little choked up, literally. But I
yeah,
wanted to ask you one more thing on the way out.
sure.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
So, thank
Yeah.
you. No, that was actually a cough, but I
Oh,
swallowed the
okay.
wrong way when I was getting emotional with the.
Yeah,
But let me ask you this: I posted. I started out the show with this, and I'm going to pose it to you. I don't know if you had a chance to catch it. I know you were eating breakfast, but
yeah,
the most important, so many important things for the Buccaneers in the 2020 postseason. Those 4 games that led up to, or the 3 games that led up to that fourth game in Super Bowl
sure.
55 victory. Anything that sticks out in your mind as a turning point or as a big, where is it where it could have zigged, but it zagged. The Buccaneers did, any one of those games against the Washington football team, against the New Orleans Saints, then or against the Packers in a championship game or the Super Bowl itself. What are some of the
Actually,
moments that stick
actually,
out for
I'm
you?
going to go back even further. It
Okay.
was the second half of the Atlanta game
Oh yeah, so he's talking
in
about, yeah. Go ahead.
after the coming out of the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Had that gone the other way, had they lost to Atlanta as opposed to beaten Atlanta,
Yes.
um, you got to wonder if the Bucks would have been in the playoffs at all.
Wow. Because
And
that could
so,
alter those last three
yeah,
games.
it was
Yeah.
actually, they came out of the bye. They had a terrible first half in that game against the Falcons.
Right.
And you're sitting there going, well, what the hell? I mean, normally when you have the time off to get settled, this is where you come back and you come back strong. Well, it was that second half,
Oh,
the kind of football they
sorry,
needed.
Jim.
That's
I
okay.
put you out of there for a minute. No, 100%, and that's and that doesn't have to be the postseason. That was,
Hmm.
and they talked about that. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, but there's that. It's called the No Risk and No Biscuit. Again,
Hmm.
narrated by Billie Jean King. Have you had a chance to see that?
I have, yeah.
That was a big moment, that Atlanta coming out of that bye
Hmm.
week, and of course looking back on it, it's like, well, yeah, Tom had that offense down, and they get that run going, and then they end up having had a fantastic postseason. But Jim, 2 more questions before I let get you out of here.
Sure.
One, um, did I dress okay to represent? Neutral colors. I wore nice dark colors, wore nice
You look
shoes and
lovely.
pants. Okay.
Yes.
And two is I didn't print out my media slip. They're going to be able to read it off my phone, right? Or should I be going to a Kinko's and trying to get that thing printed out right now?
Uh,
To
it's
brain.
always better. It's always better the latter than the former. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you. It's always good to have it in paper.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that they will read it off your phone, but
I
uh,
apologize. I apologize.
you want.
And I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
You,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say you always want to have as much um documentation as humanly
Yeah,
possible.
you do. Especially in these days and age. Hey, I got my
Right.
vaccine card in my back pocket, but I'm not even going to go there. Hey,
Yeah.
Jim Williams from Sports Talk Florida. First of all, thanks for letting me represent today over here at
Oh,
Tropicana
it's my
Field.
pleasure, Ray.
And I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Maybe you and Chris can have me again on Just Parlays here real
You're
soon.
welcome anytime you want, buddy.
Thank you,
Just let
brother.
us know.
Thank you, Jim. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you
I'm
soon.
looking forward to reading your stuff in tomorrow's paper on
Oh, I'm
tomorrow's
looking
line.
forward to writing my stuff. Hey, I'm allowed to bring my laptop in, right? So I can write from inside the press box, right?
Yeah,
That's
of
not a problem.
course.
Good. I
Yeah.
want to make sure. Okay, Jim. Have a great day, my
All
friend.
right, guys. Take care and
Take
read
care.
Ray tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, buddy.
I knew I could bring my laptop in there. How am I going to write? I didn't pass my stenography class, so no, 100%. But go ahead and I'm going to get back to your comments before I get out of here. I know I had a couple more come in. Thanks again for Jim Williams, Jimmy Bills, for joining me today. And getting me the credentials to get in over there. Yeah, again, it's going to be really great stuff. I look forward to come back here and we'll talk about it. Mike Stover, 2002 opening series sweep, 2012 opening series sweep, 2022. Like it, Mike. I like it 100%. Lightning get off the schneid today against the Buffalo Sabres and get a victory, 4 in a row losses. Mike, I see you got the Lightning tag there. Is it just that they're turning? I got to turn on another gear as we get to the postseason in 2022 and go for that third consecutive Stanley Cup? Or is it these guys are tired? I got to know here, Mike. Mike also says the 2019 Masters win was epic. Of course, Tiger Woods winning that 2019 Masters was just phenomenal. And then Phil Mickelson's win, but that wasn't at the Masters. That was at the Players Championship, was it? But where the odds he was like 50 to 1. Oh, good morning, Mike. How are you, brother? Good to see you. That was a fantastic victory as well. Alex Schumber says, hope my Cardinals get the W today. All right, Alec, I don't mind that as long as the Rays get the W today, or your team, whoever your team out there gets the W. Marcus Sullivan says, great show, Ray. Have a good time at the game. Prayers for the players and fans. Thank you. I appreciate it. Marcus, soul brother, and reporters. Thank you. We are blessed to be able to do the things in life that make us happy. Some people don't get that choice. Are you talking about Ukraine, Marcus? My prayers go out. I'm sure all of our prayers and warm thoughts and vibes go out to the people of Ukraine who are still kind of going through that whole thing with Russia and the terrible things that are going on over there. And anyone else, anybody who's going through a hard time right now. And again, you guys know how I end every one of these things. Everyone needs to know someone cares. Today, be the one that lets them know, because they could be going through that time. Someday we could be going through that time. And it's the brother and sister check, somebody reaching out, a word from nowhere. Hey, haven't talked. Just go through your erroneously. Pick a friend of a friend, someone you went to high school with or you've worked with, or someone you know in social media. Look at their friend. Now you're creeping, right? Look at their friends list, and you go, "Oh my god, why am I not friends with that cat? Let me just read what's up." And do it. Obviously, they're not going to think you're coming with any agenda unless, you do. And in that case, it is a little creepy and you don't want to do that. But finish it off with, we are blessed to be able to do the things in life to make us happy. Some people don't get that choice. Marcus Sullivan says, make every day count. Love y'all. Have a blessed day. See you on down the line. Marcus, thanks for coming in here, brother. Alex says, Rays versus Cardinals will be tough. Might have to go to the Bay to see it. You come to the Bay and you put money on the Cards, you're going to be in the Bay, Alec. I'm kidding. Christopher Cole. Christopher, you're the one I got the knowledge from, because he dropped it with Harry the Greek and Pete on 12:52 on the over-under on Friday night, that you were the one that shared with Harry the Greek that Tiger was actually, 20 to 1, or no, Jim says 45 to 1, but the odds were really long on Tiger even making a cut for the Masters. I know you didn't get to pull the trigger. That's okay, Christopher, because I wouldn't have pulled the trigger either. I just don't have that kind of money to pull the trigger. Marcus Sullivan says, love you guys. Be blessed. Thank you, Marcus. Again, I appreciate you. Alex says, might have to do it. All right. Hey, you got that money you're rolling in this week with all the victories you're having with on the lines and stuff like that, Alec? Come on down and you're buying, my friend. You guys didn't share too much. I guess so let's go ahead and let's circle back real quick if we can on the 2020 postseason. We'll keep it. The extended first down and the victory over, because I mean that of course, that defensive line. We saw it with the Rams in the playoff game last year when the Bucs lose at Raymond James Stadium and the Rams advance to the NFC Championship game. But the defensive line, that Chase Young, Montez Sweat, who else did they have out there? Jurgens or whatever, another defensive lineman, Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, and that defensive pressure that the Washington football team gave the Bucs in the wild card game in 2020. Then you get off the schneid against those New Orleans Saints and you win that game. And Devin White bossed out in that game. Then you got the NFC Championship game and the big throw to Scotty Miller, the way the defense was all of a sudden coming together, the way you go back, and what a crucial play for Matt LaFleur. Because you guys know 7 days a week and twice on NFC Championship Sunday, you're looking at fourth and whatever from the 7-yard line, and you got Aaron Rodgers. And here's the thing. Tell me if you agree. You're watching the game live, and take yourself out of, and then that's what you do sometimes, right? You take okay, am I trying to answer this question as a Bucs fan? But being a credentialed media member that I am, sometimes you take yourself out of that fan. You got to take yourself out of that fandom and actually ask the question legitimately from just the sport side, Did it make sense to go for it, to get the field goal, to pull it within, and then the defense almost stopped us? Remember, the defense almost stopped us, if not for the holding call against when the guy grabs and literally tries to rip Tyler Johnson's jersey off, and it was a great call. Could have went either way, but that defense almost stopped him, and the Packers would have had the ball back with, Aaron, let me throw an 80-yard bomb Rodgers, who should not have won the 2021 MVP, but I'm not going to go there on a Sunday here now. I'll always fight that argument for you, Tom. Like I told you last week at lunch, I got your back, TB. But they almost stopped him and they almost put the ball back on her. And even though the Bucs still had a lead, the Packers would have inevitably had another shot or two. But you got to imagine hindsight's 2020. I'd have to say, what would you somebody post right now? Give me one person that would have kicked the field goal and then tried to play defense, not taking into account that the Packers ultimately lost to the Bucs in that championship game. But I don't know. It's tough. So anyway, I talked about Tiger Woods, talked about the Rays-Orioles game. I'm going to be breaking it down here and heading across the street. I've got to go find the media entry. Don't know. I worked at Tropicana Field. I worked for the Rays for 3 years. I love that stadium, and I get it that it's got a bad rap. It started off as the Pinellas Suncoast Dome, then it became the Thunder Dome, and then it, when the Lightning and the Storm were playing in there, and it kind of felt great to call it the Thunder Dome. But Rick Dodge, the city of St. Petersburg assistant manager, and the people around here, the visionaries. George Steinbrenner said, don't even try to build a stadium. Don't even think about building a stadium to bring baseball. I will fight it tooth and nail at every turn. And George Steinbrenner did fight it tooth and nail at every turn. And then the city of St. Petersburg, the old gas plant district over there, God, as you see the parking lot I see now, the beautiful sun out there, and it's just cool enough where I see everybody tailgating, having a great time, soaking in. What a great way to spend opening weekend, not just as a Rays fan, but just Major League Baseball in general after a 99-day lockout, and they're back, and Major League Baseball is kind of messing around with the rules a little bit. They're looking at a pitch clock and a device to send in the signals to keep the signals from being stolen, bigger bases, and, trying to speed the game up. I loved McClanahan's speeds pitch on Friday. He's just like, pitcher, pitch, pitcher, pitch, pitcher, pitch. Gets a rhythm going. Because that's sometimes in this day and age where everybody's getting a lot of their, not everybody, but a lot of people are getting some of their news. Aren't we all getting our news? Tom Brady unretires. And it's like, I've got like 73 pops on my phone, different outlets that we all rely on for our news. But it's great to see people being able to take in an opening day weekend. And it just so, and there's as Coach Mark Ferguson right there walking. God, there's nothing that cat don't do down here. Of course, owner of Ferg's world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill on Central Avenue, just below 16th Street in the Edge District of St. Petersburg. Yeah, I think I got it that time too. But where was I? I'm just rambling here at this point. Talk about the Bucs. Talk about Tiger Woods. Oh, I know what I was talking about. Building a stadium here. They built a stadium without a team. They built a stadium because Mayor Al Lang 100 years ago posed that this is a beautiful place for baseball, being a community where people come down to, especially in the spring. This time of year, as I'm standing out here, actually chilly under the overhang here on a party deck out behind Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill. They built a stadium, bridesmaid but never the bride, 7 times with the Dodger or the Giants, the White Sox, the Minnesota, whoever it was. Then they finally get the Rays in '98. Vince Namoli, the owner of the team, comes in here. Stu Sternberg buys the team a few years later. The Rays are continually it's crazy. The American League champs, American League East champs the last 2 years, the American League champs 2 years ago, but doing it with a smaller payroll than a lot of your big brethren there in American League East, and just doing it by thinking outside the box, buying low, selling high, having the most phenomenal farm system in all of Major League Baseball, and then bury the lead, the best pitching staff around. So they continue to lock it in. Talked about that. Talked about Tiger Woods. I think that's about it for a Sunday after a Sunday Cup of Ray here. Come on in here, my friend. I got to bring this cat in here. I can't. I got to bring. Come on in and shot with me for a second.
On Sunday morning.
Mike Rickard here.
Man,
Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection. I'm sorry I missed it yesterday, but I had that picnic thing going on.
Well, we were in the same exact spot.
Were you out here?
This is where we were.
You told me you were going to be here.
Watching the fans stream in.
Yes.
After a great opening day.
Yes.
There had to have been 1,800 strong down here for.
Oh, I heard it was banging. Yes, sir.
Easily. And then yesterday, a little softer crowd, but another victory.
Yes, sir.
110 first pitch again today.
Yes.
And looking at, then we got a 4-game series against the A's. I'm sure you've covered all this.
Yes. Not the A's, but I'm getting there.
But today, you'll see me. I'm the highest priced busboy you will ever meet.
Yes, you are.
Mark's right-hand man, wiping down tables and getting you ready to watch anything you want today, including the Masters here at Fergs. Come on down to Fergs.
Appreciate you,
You're doing
brother.
a great job, brother.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, Mike. Yeah, so there's Mike Ricker from the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection, my guy here on Saturdays. I didn't get it down. I was doing a city picnic. I had a great time yesterday, the City of Pinellas Park employee picnic, locking it down there, but didn't make it down. But I knew it was going to be a party down here at the world-famous Ferg Sports Bar and Grill, just across the street from, again, 110 start today between the Rays and the Orioles. Wherever you are, find your Sunday. If you're here in Tampa Bay, crack the windows open, let some of that fresh air flow through, open the windows on the north and south side of the house and just watch the curtain stream. Get out and watch a sunset tonight. Take the time to make the time to check to see what condition your condition is in, to quote one of my friends here who had a little something a little earlier. Let's see if I got anyone else. Christopher Cole finishes the show out with Dungy would have kicked it. Yeah, see, Christopher, I think that's what I'm saying, right? Is that looking at what LaFleur did with the Packers, you're like, at the time, you're thinking, okay, I get this. Bruce Arians would never kick it. In fact, he would no risk it, no biscuit. But, again, just some of the – we'll talk about this again. I have a feeling I got you all on a slow day. You're just enjoying this weather. We're enjoying this late spring cool air. Love to get into this a little more because I know there was so many more things that happened in the 2020 season that the Bucs on their march to Super Bowl 55 and that championship, the second in team history. So many integral – I do have a lot. Sorry, I don't know why. That's a habit of mine. Thanks for joining me here for a cup of Ray on a Sunday morning. I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all. Check back with me. Check for me on Sports Talk Florida as I got writing about the God. Yeah, there you go. Hey, it's Sports Talk Florida, writing about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Join me later for another cup of Ray and keep it locked here on Bucs Report. We'll always have your breaking news and some of your best content on the Buccaneers. And if it's me, it could just be on Tampa Bay Sports. Have a great day. And don't forget, everyone needs to know someone cares today. Let's all be the one that lets them know. Take care.